All right, so I wanted to just use this as kind of a supplemental in case I forget to record a meeting. But I'm going to really quick take you guys through the rhetorical appeals and what they mean because you're going to need this information throughout the whole week. So what the rhetorical appeals are, and the reason why there's a triangle in front of me is there are 3 rhetorical appeals that are, and by rhetorical appeals, it just means ways that we speak in order to appeal or to wink wink or to persuade or argue in a way that allows an audience to believe you. So basically if you just want to know at the basic level what rhetorical appeals are, is there are 3 ways that all of us persuade people to believe us. So the first appeal is logos. And logos is an appeal to logic. So what that means is you are trying to think of strategies, or a speaker is, or a writer is, or something that's being created is trying to appeal to someone's logic in order to make them believe what you're saying. So usually how this is done is it's done through providing statistics, events, research, something like concrete that appeals to someone's logic, which is usually facts. If someone's a logical person, they need the facts. You want to be concrete and specific. You don't want to be vague. If you're trying to win someone over logically, that's just not something that you want to do. And then logos ultimately tries to make someone see reason through evidence and facts. All right, the second rhetorical appeal is called ethos. Now, ethos is an appeal to credibility or authority. So what this means is the speaker or the writer or the creator, whoever's trying to do the persuading, they are trying to make someone believe them as a credible authority figure that knows what they're talking about. So you're trying to appeal to kind of our need as humans to believe someone as someone who knows what the heck they're talking about. So the way that you do that as a speaker or writer, how do I make someone believe that I'm someone that they can trust or that see as an authority figure? The way that you do this is ethos is established in 4 ways. First is you want to establish, or the writer or the speaker aims to establish themselves as an authority figure. So they want to make it known that they know what they're talking about and they're an expert, or they know someone that is. All right. The second thing it does is it establishes trustworthiness. So you aim to make the people trust you, the audience trust you in some way, shape, or form. The third way is you need to establish your reputation as being known to be someone that knows what they're talking about. And then you will establish ethos. The fourth way is establish similarities. This one's a little tricky, but you can establish similarities in order to make someone trust you, to say, hey, I'm just like you. You can believe me. I'm like you, right? You can trust me. I'm just like you. I've been through what you have. And I will say this is an additional thing, but it's not on here because I forgot to add it. A simple way to also appeal to ethos: dress nice, makes people think that you automatically know what you're doing. So not like my hair right now. All right, the third appeal, and my personal favorite, is an appeal to emotion, which is pathos. Now, pathos aims to make people feel things. So unlike logos that makes people believe you because of evidence, and unlike ethos that makes you believe something because someone is an authority figure that you can trust, pathos is sheer emotional manipulation. It aims to make someone feel and be persuaded because you have made them feel something. So, for example, you might use stories if you're trying to use pathos to appeal to someone's emotion. Why? Because stories make us cry. Stories make us inspired. Stories make us angry. Stories make us feel emotion. You can use metaphors and similes like, hey, I'm like this, because it makes people go, oh, okay, yeah, I felt that. And then they might feel it too. Relatable scenarios: if you tell a story or a situation that's relatable, then it's more likely to get an emotional reaction out of people. Humor is a fun one with pathos. If you can establish pathos by making people feel like delighted and light and like they can relate to your whatever you're saying through humor, great. But you also can make people angry, you can make people happy, you can make people joyful, you can make people inspired, you can make people infuriated, you can make people feel guilty, etc. All right, and then the last ones are emotional themes. Ooh, and this one's a big one, this one that just popped up. Repeated phrases are a fantastic way for someone to establish pathos because it makes people kind of think about something over and over. And when we think about things, we tend to get it. All right. And then finally, visuals and music, the creme de la creme. If you use music at a really important moment in a story, man, does it make us feel things, right? All right. So logos, pathos, and ethos, when they are used together, they create this awesome effect where they make people feel very persuaded and feel very likely like they're going to follow what you want them to do. All right, so I'm going to show you an example. This is a Nike commercial, and I'm going to at the end talk about all the appeals that I saw. Okay. All right. So where did I see the three appeals? Now, first of all, Nike, they use all three appeals flawlessly. It's insane. They always make people, when they see their commercials, want to go do things, right? And that's the ultimate goal. You want to make people do what you want them to do. You want to argue your point. You want to persuade. All right. So first of all, logos, they used logos throughout that entire thing in a very simple way. All the women that they used, that they showed their pictures of in the, that's examples, that's facts, that's, look at all of these examples to support what I'm trying to say. The concrete evidence, that was logos. You're appealing to someone's logic and going, logically, I can see what you're talking about because you have all these examples to back you up of all these women that have done these incredible things that people thought were crazy. Ethos, this one's a little trickier for this one, but it's there. It was at the very end when Serena Williams, who's the narrator of the video, establishes herself as an expert or an authority figure because she's won all these Grand Slams after having a baby and doing all these extraordinary things and becoming one of the most celebrated athletes in the world. She made herself an authority figure, an expert. I know what I'm talking about because I've done these things. So that was her establishing ethos. And lastly was pathos. Pathos was everywhere in this one. It was, God, sorry, my nose itched. The key though with here, the music makes you feel emotion, right? But the one thing that I keep going back to was the repetition of crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. It automatically stuck in your head. It made you feel emotions. It made you feel inspired. It made you feel angry. It made you relate. It made you feel guilt for not realizing that you could go out and do these things or doubting yourself in the past. So that repetition of crazy, pathos all the way. So using those three things, that's why this works. At the end of it, I felt inspired. I wanted to go out and do something. I wanted to pursue that crazy dream. So Nike persuaded me by using those three: logos, pathos, and ethos. So those are the rhetorical appeals. We're gonna be taking a look at two pieces, John Lewis's Final Letter and also My Shot from Hamilton, to see how they use the appeals to establish their points. And eventually we're gonna see what you can do in a week. How can you persuade us? So we'll see. Anyway, thanks for coming to my channel. Isn't that what I'm supposed to say? If I were a YouTube star? I don't know anymore.